get after Darnold, move him off the spot. The other thing I would do is I would run Mason a ton. I think right now you're in a spot right now where Debo just got tons of hits last week. Ayuk looks really, really rusty. Trent's only played one game.
Right.
You got a rookie starter at right guard, albeit a good one. And you got a really good defense. I would say run. I would like to see a heavy dose of the run game. I'm going to share the screen one more time and let you hear what another great comment here. This is from Richard Sherman.
Oh, good.
Sherm he's talking about Jordan Mason here. And Sherm, of course, played with
by Jordan
Seahawks,
Mason.
And Mason reminds him of Marshawn. And you know what? He reminds me of Marshawn as well. Here's Dick Sherman talking JP Mason.
What a freaking game by Jordan Mason. It's something about just getting your opportunity and making the most of it is really cool. People saying he looked like Marshawn Lynch out there. My goodness, he does run with a very heavy hat. He runs downhill, Mitchell. He was punishing people all day. And you can see as the game went on, he's starting to wear the defense down. People turning down hits, people turning down tackles. Hey, sometimes they running into blocks like, hey, keep me over here. I don't want what's over there. That dude looked like the rent's due. He running like the rent is due, Mitchell. And that was freaking great for the San Francisco 49ers. Great for him. You could hear how happy and how proud Kyle Shanahan was of just him getting his opportunity. They knew what he could do, but he went out there and showed the world in a primetime game what he's capable of. That was really cool. The team was rallying behind him.
So there you go. He's running like the rent is due. I'll say this, I go into the locker room, I talk to these guys. This guy, if you didn't know anything about football, and I just said, hey, here's a player. What position does he play? Right. This guy walks in, you'd be like, oh man, looks like maybe a linebacker, maybe a defensive end, maybe a fullback, fullback, or a lineman, maybe a defensive tackle. I mean, he's a big dude. He's talking about 240 and really big. You're talking about a running back. I mean, this is a really great ad. I mean, Law of Awe here says Mason is a star in the making. We can't hold that back. No way. I agree with Law of Awe. I think this kid is not good, not very good. I think he is a star in the making. I think Law of Awe is absolutely spot on here.
You know who he was reminding me of, Krugs? I was getting flashes. Tell me, you could agree, disagree on this, but like the way he was running so physically, so punishing, and like Sherm said, just head down right into the contact. He was reminding me of William Floyd, bar none, during his rookie season.
Bar none.
Me too. Before he got hurt, he was that same kind of player. He would get the rock.
I was there that day he got hurt where he blew out his knee against the Saints.
Yeah.
But bar none was like one of my favorite Niners of all time. He talk about a guy who just lowered his head like a bull and just,
that's what I'm saying. It's
amazing power.
And I was getting shades of that with JP Mason the other night. I was like, damn, that's a lot like William Floyd used to run the rock. So you know what? And he's right about that. I mean, it does take its toll on a defense, especially when you've been doing that for 3 quarters and then you're getting into the back end of the game in the fourth. The guys have their hands on their hips on the D line, and it's like, yeah, here it comes again. Like, just keep pounding Mason in there. It pays dividends late in the game.
No question. Jim Millay says Kruger called Purdy, Kruger called Mason. Jimmy, thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Tim Donaghy's crew.
Dude, let's get a thing where we got like Kruger's crystal ball. Make some calls on guys,
Do like a Swami thing. And
dude, I'll light some incense.
I see the Vikings minus the 7.
Dude, I'll get the candles going. Yeah.
Awesome. Tim Donaghy's crew. Oh, wow. Some Paulie Mack vibes on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
The dude abides.
Right on, Tim. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man.
That's awesome. Let's see. We got this one, Law of Awe, which is a great handle. You've been talking Mason the past couple of years, Larry. You knew, just like Brock. Dude, when I saw this kid, and then I went back and watched his G-Tech film. How about G-Tech? Paulie, they had this kid and Jahmyr Gibbs on the same team at Georgia Tech, and Jahmyr transferred to Bama. and went in the first round, and now is, I think, one of the best young running backs in all of pro football on the Lions. And you got this kid Mason, and I'm telling you, he's monster. The only disappointing thing from Monday night was that somebody on the Niners obviously told him that he shouldn't have said to Lisa Salters that they told him on Friday that he was going to play.
Yeah.
And so he came to the podium super bummed and pissed and frustrated. And that is not what, and I tried to lift him up, man.
Good.
I'm like, I said to him, I'm like, hey, JP, man, you had an incredible game. That's the greatest game of your NFL career. You got to be feeling good. You know, talk about your perspective on it.
Yeah.
And he got a little chipper, but not really. He was just so bummed that he was told that he said the wrong thing. And so if you watch that, you're sitting there going, wasn't this guy the star of the game? Wasn't this guy like the hero? Wasn't this guy isn't this guy like the guy tonight? Yeah. And yet he stood there like he, started a fire in the upper deck or something. I mean,
it was unfortunate. Yeah, it was unfortunate after his big night. Because I was confused. I didn't really understand because I saw him on the podium and I heard his answer, but I was like, I didn't know the backstory. I do now, but I didn't know what led to that. So, yeah, that was unfortunate, man, for such a young guy to have his first really, really big night and then have that little bit of tarnish on it at the podium. Hopefully you strip that away and move on. But Cruz, today, and I know you saw this, I was looking at Christian McCaffrey in the locker room talking about preparing to play. So, I mean, you and I both are in agreement on this. I would prefer they err on the side of caution right now with Christian McCaffrey because I think it's a game they can win without him. And it's only week 2. And why risk something that doesn't need to be risked? I don't know. But do you expect to see him suited up on Sunday?
You heard it. So McCaffrey told us basically, he's like, because, last week he stood at his locker on Thursday or Friday and said, I'm playing. They're like, you're going to go? Yeah. He's like, I'm going. So this week, of course, he kind of felt like he needed to kind of explain, hey, I said I was going. I didn't go. What happened? What transpired? And he basically said that in his mind, Paulie, that he doesn't like that mindset of, well, I'm 50-50, I'm 70-30, I'm 75-25. He likes the mentality of I'm playing. And then if I'm not, then I'm not. But I'm all in on playing. So like he said today, hey man, I'm a full go Sunday. But when we get to Sunday, will he be a full go? And is it his call? I'll say this. I don't think it should be his call. I think it should be the doctor's call and Shanahan's call and Lynch's call.
I agree.
Don't save players from themselves. The players always want to play.
Cruz.
You need this guy at the end, not now.
Here's my only dude. You crushed it right there. And if you want to take a stroll down memory lane, just try to remember what happened when Kevin Durant insisted on playing in the finals. You remember that? Like he was like, hey, no, I'm good. I'm good to go. Boom. That was it. We didn't see him for a year and a half. So I'm with you. I as much respect as I have for Christian McCaffrey, and it's a lot, I don't think that decision should be solely in his hands. I don't.
No. Monty asks, Larry, why did Mason go undrafted? Three numbers with a dot in the middle. 4.58 is what he ran in the 40. So, in an era where there's guys who run in the 4.2s and 4.3s and 4.4s and low 4.5s, if you run close to 4.6, you're not going to get drafted. So he went undrafted. The first day I saw this kid, I'm like, wow, look at that guy. Now he runs upright, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of Marshawn in that he runs upright. So I don't know about durability, but man, the guy's got real good vision. He's got real good power. Yeah. He runs with, he runs a little upright, but lately he's run with better body lean.
I saw
and he admitted to me, I asked him, I said, hey man, this is when they first came to camp, Paulie. I said, hey JP, I think you're like one of the best players on this team that never plays. What's going on? Why don't you ever play? What's the deal? And he's like, and he was so straight. It was unbelievable. He's like, you know what? I just needed to grow up.
Wow.
He's like, Bobby T would call on me in the meetings and I didn't have the answers.
Wow.
And it wasn't, and he's like, it wasn't like I didn't have a good attitude. I just didn't know the answers.
Wow.
And so because I didn't know the answers, I didn't talk much.
Wow.
And then, he just kept going, and then he kind of left me, and he kind of let me go. And, and he goes, basically, I just wasn't the kind of back that he wanted. I wasn't doing what he wanted. And he's kind of the gatekeeper on the playing time. And he basically just said, I just needed to grow up. And you know what he said when he was at the podium the other night? I'm thinking to myself, you know what? There's more growth that's needed, because he stood there like a 15-year-old or like one of my kids, like a 12-year-old or 14-year-old who's like, kind of the posture and looking down and really bummed and really upset. Yeah. And it's like, hey, you know what? You're a great fucking back, and you had a great fucking night. Right. And should you not have said this? Yeah, but don't sweat that. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. Yeah. And I kind of wish somebody had yelled at him, but then also lifted him up. And I think what happened is that they yelled at him and then didn't lift him up and then put him in front of the microphone. If you're going to yell at a guy, yell at him and then lift his ass up and be like, bro, all right, don't say that to the media, but guess what? You just rumble for 150.
Dude,
this is a great night.
In other words, give me the Tony Salvador treatment. You can yell at me and undress me, but then when nobody's looking, tell me I'm doing an okay job, because that's what he used to do.